Alright, so we've got a washing machine here. Customer complaining that it's not draining. It's the Whirlpool washing machine. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and try to do easy repair by cleaning the drain pump from the front. If that doesn't work, we're going to go ahead and disassemble the unit. We're going to remove the top cover and remove the front panel. But before we jump into any conclusions, let's go ahead and test the unit ourselves and make sure the problem is what it is. Most of the time, customer thinks he knows the problem, but doesn't necessarily mean it is the problem. So let's go ahead and connect the water and drain. Okay, go ahead, connect the water connection and the drain connection. Alright, so the machine finished its cycle. I shut off the unit. The door is unlocked. Let's go ahead and check if there's any water left. And it's true, there's quite a bit of water. Alright, let me demonstrate all the tools you require. So first of all, you'll need a set of cloths to wipe off all the excessive water and make sure your floors are clean from any damages. A basic drill, if you don't have one, it's not a big deal, but it will make your job fast and easier. A set of basic screwdrivers will do as well, but a drill is a must-have to do repair. A set of adjustable pliers is a must-have to access all the regular size nuts. A set of zip ties to keep your wire work neat and clean so your wires don't hang loose. A set of basic pliers to connect the terminals on end of the wires. A small wrench to access small tight spaces where you can get with a big wrench. A small set of bits starting from squares, Phillips and stars. A basic construction knife to cut the wires and clean from insulation. 90-degree angle extension for your drill bit to access all the screws that are not accessible without it. A basic flashlight so you can see what you're doing. A basic multimeter to test all the components on the way. Usually we're going to be using mostly continuity test. And the top of the tool you'll require today is a shop vac. This shop vac can work with water and dust as well. You can get this shop vac from anywhere from $30 to $60 in any of your local hardware stores, but it definitely must have to do your job neat and clean and make sure there's no extra water on your floor that can cause damage in the future. Alright, let's go ahead and empty the water from the drum so we can clean the drain pump. Perfect. Alright, just keep using your shop vac until the water is fully out of the system and until you can open the drain pump cap. Let's go ahead and open it up. And it looks like someone was already inside and cleaned it before us, and it definitely did not resolve the initial issue. So unfortunately we're going to put it back together and disassemble the whole unit so we can access the drain pump. Okay, here we have a star bit size, so grab a proper bit size and go ahead and unscrew the top cover. Alright, now you can remove the top cover out of the way. Remove the soap dispenser from the control panel. You can use the release hatch to remove it. Now remove all the screws from the front of the panel and the top of the panel. Apply a bit of force and pull and you'll be able to remove it. Now it sits on those plastic brackets. You might break it, but don't worry about it. Go ahead and disconnect all the wires from the control board. Here I'm using a flat screwdriver to pull down on the plastic bracket that keeps all the terminals back in place. In some of them you can just use fingers. Once it's done, remove the control panel out of the way like so. Alright, let's disconnect the gasket from the front side of the panel. We have to remove it from the body. Grab a flat screwdriver, pinch the O-ring around the gasket like so, and pull it until you can fully remove it like that. Then go ahead and unscrew all the screws and the screws that holding the top of the front panel. Go ahead, remove the final screws located on the bottom of the panel and lift up the whole panel and remove it out of the way. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the drain pump from its housing. Just unscrew the holding screws and remove all the hoses out of the way. Once you can remove the drain pump, pull it out so you can remove the remaining hoses and its terminals. And it looks like someone was already here before us and did some kind of repair. It doesn't look like a very good job, so we'll have to come back here and do the repair ourselves. Alright, let's go ahead and disassemble the drain pump assembly, remove all the screws, and remember in exact which position they were. Alright, and that is definitely the issue why the drain pump wouldn't drain all the time. The string tied around and wooden impeller move around all the time. So it would finish the cycle, but the water wouldn't fully drain at all the times. Let's go ahead and remove the string out of the way. Perfect. It spins freely and good to go. Let's put it back together the way it was. Connect the drain pump in exact the same position it was and make sure it sits tight. Connect all the screws all around. Make sure to screw them in a cross pattern so the seal all around the drain pump doesn't leak in the future. Now I'm going to teach you how to create your own test tool. So just grab a basic wire that has a neutral and line inside of it without the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect each line to the terminals of the drain pump and test it. So you're going to have a line and neutral. We're going to clean them and connect to each connector of the drain pump and test it. Go ahead, grab your construction knife and split each wire in half. Get rid of extra rubber insulation and go ahead and clean each wire from its insulation. Once you're done, twist the copper line like so it's easy to work with and connect each connector on each line. Grab a pliers and squeeze the aluminum part together. Now guys, most of the people do the mistake and then they squeeze the rubber part of the connector, and what happens is the wire comes off eventually. So what you want to do is squeeze the aluminum part of the connector so the connector sits tight and snug and doesn't move anywhere. Do the same for the second wire. And now connect each connector to each terminal of the drain pump. Now let's open the drain pump cap so we can see the drain pump impeller moving. And go ahead and connect it. Looks like it's spinning good to go. Let's go ahead and cut off the wires that were used by previous repairmen. I just removed the duct tape from one of the connectors and I found out that they've been reusing old materials in this previous repair. So as you can see, there's two wires running into one connector, so it's not up to code to do that. Don't ever do that, even if you don't have new materials to use into the repair. It's just not good to do. So we're gonna redo this job and make sure it is fixed correctly. Go ahead and cut off insulation from each wire. We can reuse the existing wires, just not the existing connectors. We're going to use new connectors on each wire and make sure they sit snug by using pliers. We're going to do the same for both wires, just like that. Perfect. And we're going to do a male connector for each wire extension using pliers to secure them back in place and connect them just like so. Perfect, the connectors are done. Each wire is sitting tight and will never come off even when the machine is shaking. So let's go ahead and connect each wire into each terminal by using new connectors. Perfect, it's all done and ready to go. So let's go ahead and connect the wires. Connect all the hoses back in place. Connect each wire into the pin of the drain pump. It doesn't matter which goes where, it will work regardless. And connect the drain pump back in place. Now when connecting O-rings back in place, make sure they go in exact the same position they were originally, or the hoses might leak in the future. Connect the secure screws into the drain pump housing so the drain pump doesn't shake when it drains. Now let's go ahead and put the front wall back together. Now there's a little screw that goes into the front side of the washing machine, so line it up with the hole and press it down like so. Alright, connect all the screws on top and line up the door lock and secure it back with 2 screws. Now we have to line up the gasket all around. Grab your gasket, find where the edge goes into, and just press it down all around the gasket so it sits tight and doesn't go anywhere while the washing machine is working. Grab the O-ring facing spring down and pull it down until it lines up. Put all screws back on the bottom and connect all the connectors back together. Don't worry, you won't be able to put the wrong connector into the wrong fitting. Manufacturer took care of that. Now put the screws back into the front panel and put the soap dispenser back in. Secure the top cover with all the remaining screws. This washing machine is good to go. Just because of this basic string, it wouldn't drain. So make sure you clean your pockets from all the garbage before doing any cycles in the washing machine. This washing machine will serve this customer for another couple of years without any problems. Now, if you have any other problems with your washing machine, such as not spinning, making loud noise, won't agitate, won't drain, or is vibrating, please call us at 1-866-244-6051.